What up? Back again. All right, y'all. Who's here? Let's see. We're doing I'm doing a stream right now all for AP students, not subject specific. This is like how to spend your last month of review. AP exams begin literally 1 month from today. They start on May 6th. So, if you're freaking out, however you're feeling, this is the place where you need to be. All right, this is it. This is where I'm going to show you all the things you need to know. If anyone else is in here, any interns or Fiveable team, if you're logged in as Crowdcast, just please make sure you're logged in as yourself, just so that we have it doesn't crash or break. So I'm going to be giving you guys so much good stuff today. We're also going to be giving out some merch. We're going to be giving out some Fiveable Plus memberships, all kinds of stuff. So text your friends, post on social media. This is the place to be right now, right? So any AP students, any subject, this is where you want to be. So spread the word to your friends, send out that group text message. Be like, yo, like, I know it's a Saturday. I know we're not trying to study on Saturday sometimes, but this is going to be worth it. All right. So use the chat. We're going to talk in the chat. We're going to do all this together, but also post any questions that you have in the questions tab. Okay, so let's see. Let me get out of this one. I'm going to share my screen in just a sec. So I'm going to share with you the slides. So you've got them, and we'll post them on this page as well so you can see them later. This replay is always going to be available. This will always live on this page. It will also be available inside the web app. So if you are not yet on the new web app, you definitely should get over there. You can click the button that just says check out the free study skills, and you can head to app.fiveable.me to check that out. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's jump in. All right, got lots of people in here. It's gonna be fun, you guys. I'm having fun this morning. I'm out here in Berkeley, California right now. The rest of the Fiveable team is in Madison, Wisconsin. Where are you at? You can post in the chat where you are right now, so we know where people are, where you're coming from, what time zone you're in. Michigan. Hearing some beeps out there. All right, so if you don't already follow us on social media, it sounds like a shameless plug sometimes, but it's not. We're giving away all kinds of stuff. We're going to be posting helpful links, helpful resources, study questions, trivia questions. We're also going to be giving away merch, giving away Fiveable Plus memberships, other prizes that we're able to pull from other companies. So follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, on YouTube. We have a bunch of different videos, especially for AP World, that are really useful, right? So, take some time, follow us through that, share it with your friends. It's helpful for us to kind of get the word out. Awesome. So you guys are really all over. So we got Andrew, that was my car. It's funny. Kentucky, New York, California, New Jersey, Texas, Florida, Washington, Bolivia. It's awesome. I really would love to go to Bolivia. Woohoo! All right, so let me ask you guys right now, just a quick check-in question. How are you feeling about your AP exams right now? You can answer this in the chat with an emoji, one of the ones that are up there, or a different one, or you could just say a word if you just want to just describe it in a word. I want to first call out that no matter how you are feeling about the AP exams, like you're valid in that. You know, you're not alone. We're all feeling a lot of things, right? So terrified, not good, maybe good on some. You might be just feeling like freaking out that it's coming up. You might just honestly be over it. You might just be like, just hurry up and get here so that we can be done with this. You might be feeling like, well, I don't know, it's going to go how it's going to go, and it is what it is. Maybe you're feeling super nerdy in some of the subjects. You're feeling like, I totally get this. I'm about to kill it on this exam. I can't wait to just like get the test, give it to me. I'm going to be doing really good. Maybe you're excited for review season. Seems like at the beginning of the year, there's so much time left, right? Yeah, I mean, right, like you start September and there's just like, you're like, I got a whole year. You know, there's so much time before the exam. The exam is so far away. And now we're like, uh-oh. Sophia's feeling like maybe the exams are contagious or they're making you sick. All right, so listen, my goal today is to get you feeling a little bit more excited about review season. I know that like studying doesn't always seem like the funnest, but it can be. And ultimately, I think like, let's just like get hyped about it, because I think like the worst part about it is when you're sort of like dragging your feet and procrastinating, and you're sort of like digging a hole for yourself, you know. But this stuff can be fun. This can be like, this is the time where you get to like piece together all the things you've done all year. You get to play games, you know, you get to work together with your friends. You get to do like more fun projects possibly. Watch a lot of videos to help out. There's a lot of pieces that can be really fun. And then ultimately, like, getting to exam day should be exciting and not scary, right? It's exciting because we're here, let's do this. You know, at a certain point, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And so I want you to like go into this review season feeling excited about it. And if you're not excited, we're going to try to get you excited. But, you know, I know that the nerves are still going to be there. So let me ask you guys really quick in the chat, what APs are you taking this year? Tell me like, give me your list. Give me the list of all the APs you're taking. Curious to see what we've got. Everything I talk about today is not specific to a subject, right? So you can use any of these ideas, these tactics for any single subject. I definitely have some that are a little bit more like history focused, but the rest of them could be used for anything. Wow, that is a lot of APs in 1 year. Calc, seminar, APUSH, Gov, physics, Lang. It's a lot. World in Euro, Psych and World in Bio. Awesome. Super shout out to all of you guys right now, because one, you're just like taking on the challenges of these exams, but two, like you're here right now, and that says a lot about you and your intentions this review season. So just like, I just want to shout you out and tell you that I'm really proud of you for all the things that you've done, especially the fact that you're just like here right now and ready to do this. So yeah, I'm really proud of everyone. All right, so let's jump in. This is kind of how this session is going to go. I want to talk a little bit about goals versus intentions, and kind of how to set those things. Talk a little bit about getting organized, and just like study math, like, you know, figuring out how much time you have left. And then the bulk of the time here, we're going to spend just coming up, brainstorming different ideas. I have a bunch of different ideas for you on how to review, and then we'll do some like brainstorming together. So my goal is for you to leave this live stream feeling like you've got a plan, right? Like, I want you to spend a little bit of time today or tomorrow getting yourself organized, getting your plan in place, and then you're just going to kind of run into review season ready to go. All right, so this is going to be like very like immediately like relevant, and you'll be able to have like next steps that are really clear. But first, all right, let's do a quick little vent session. What went well this year? What are some things that you look back on this school year in your AP class that like went really well. Maybe you did really good on a test. Maybe you like really you're like so good at the DBQ right now. I don't know. Or you're so good at one point. You're like, context, I will get that point every time, and I always kill it. Maybe you did a good job taking notes. Maybe there was a project that you're really proud of. Maybe, you showed up every day. You went to class every day. Something. I want you to shout out some of your wins. What are some things that went really good? Beast did the multiple choice, good at essay questions, got the highest score on my semester 1 exam out of everyone. That is super dope. Congrats on that. Destroyed my IRR paper for seminar. Very happy with it, and submitted the final version to CV last night. All right. So that one's done. I think I've grown a lot in A-Push. Makes me happy because I didn't do well in AP World last year. That's awesome. And so like, these wins can be all about growth too. Like think back to yourself that first day when you're getting the syllabus and you're like, how am I ever going to get through this? Like you got through it. And I'm sure, each of you have grown in a lot of ways. So I just wanted to like shout out some of those wins. What are some things you wish you could go back and do? If you could go back to yourself on the first day of school, what would you tell yourself? What's that advice that like right now you'd be like, why didn't I do X? What would it be? Maybe it's like, start studying the past periods earlier. Be more organized, so it'd be easier to piece things together now. Start studying earlier. Study from the beginning. Ask my teacher to use AP style questions. Why didn't I drop bio? So if you can go back to yourself, you'd be like, drop this class. Wish I could tell myself to stress less and trust the process. If I don't understand something, don't wait to review. That's a really good thing. So like one of the things I want to just shout out here is, for a lot of these different things, it's not too late. Like obviously if you started from the beginning, it makes things easier. But, right now you can also think about your future self in a month and a half. And, it's not too late, right? Like a month and a half from now, you may still wish these things, but you can do things right now that will put yourself on a different path, right? So like asking your teachers for support, actually doing my homework, start right now. Like this idea of like, not just plan, actually study. Same thing. All right, well, maybe you can't, drop the class now. But yeah, like you can decide like right now it's April 6th, if you're taking AP World, you've got like 40 days. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of time, but it is still a chunk of time. And it's better to decide right now in this moment that you're going to, spend the last chunk of the school year in a different way, rather than deciding that the night before the exam, right? So keep yourself in the present, celebrate your wins that you did, call out the things that you wish you did, name them, and then like be here right now in this moment and change. You can change behaviors now too. Is it too late to drop AP World? Probs. All right. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about goals versus intentions. So I know what goals are. Like you set goals all the time. Some students are better at setting goals than others. Some just like adults are better than others. But a goal would be like something long-term. You want to earn a 3 or higher. You want to pass your exam. Maybe you set a goal this year of just taking a certain number of exams. You want to earn an A in the class or a B in the class. Like you have these goals for the end of the year. But the other piece of what you need to do is to also set intentions. This is a lot more about the day-to-day, right? This is like what you do every day to get you to that goal. And it's a lot more about like how you are approaching it rather than what you're doing. Okay, so like setting intentions, you can set the intention to be positive, for example. You could set the intention to really think about a more like growth mindset, right? I might not understand how to get this rubric point right now, but I can understand. I can figure this out. I can learn, right? Nothing is unlearnable. You can learn anything. Nobody is like, sometimes you think there's like the smart kids that just like get it. There isn't some like secret sauce that they have. There is no such thing as like the smart kids and the not smart kids. You can learn it too. So just like setting that intention of like, I may not understand this right now, but I will. And so I need to figure out what to do to get there. Celebrating small wins, it's just like how you might approach each day. So what I want you guys to do in the chat right now is to like call out some of the intentions that you want to have, right? So what are some of the like day-to-day things, the way that you want to approach this last month that, I want you to put it in the chat. I want you to name it so that, saying it out loud will help you hold yourself more accountable. But like, we can do the same thing for you. We're going to help you. So like, okay, so studying a little bit every day, right? So maybe each day you want to make sure that you are doing something that will support your goal, right? I would suggest like even studying a little bit every day to even make that even more specific. And like approach it from a way of like, I want to learn one new thing every day, right? So rather than like study a little bit, like set the intention to learn one new thing every day. That's a good approach. This right here, Ashley, this is awesome. It's okay to not know everything, right? You can approach each day and really just be in that mindset. You don't need to know every single topic, every single detail. You can do really well without every single one. Master at least one thing I didn't understand. That's awesome. Be curious about learning. Yeah, this is great, right? Like, yes, you're taking a test. Yes, there's all this like, transcripts and the stress that comes with it. But like, you're also just like learning stuff that's going to be useful in the long run somehow, even if you don't know how yet. I feel like everything I've done or learned has somehow been useful to me. Like it comes back around, So like, be curious. That's an awesome mindset. This one, I need to be more positive. While I study hard and put in the work, I keep feeling overwhelmed and underprepared. Instead, I need to have more confidence in myself and tackle the exams. Yes, this is everything, right? You know more than you think you do. Always. You are here right now. You've been in these live streams. You've been studying. You've been doing all this work. Set an intention for yourself to be positive, right? Maybe your intention is, I'm going to find one thing that I'm proud of myself for every single day. And it can be anything. And I think that can really change how you will approach this review season, right? I'm going to find one thing today that I know really well, that I'm proud of myself because I know how to do this thing. And maybe I'm going to find one thing that I don't know well, and I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to learn that thing today. Not AP related, but I want to learn how to deal with stress and anxieties better. Yeah, same, right? It's like you have to figure out like kind of what works for you. Getting organized versus like finding study buddies, finding ways to be positive. All of these things are part of like dealing with stress and anxiety, and it's really hard. It's really hard, and it's not something that like even adults have figured out, So like every time you're feeling super stressed, just know that like your teacher is too. All these other adults are too. Like we're all just kind of winging it, and so you just kind of make it work. You find the things that you're proud of and keep building off of those. That's the best advice that I can give. And ultimately, this is like what we should like put on a shirt, The exams matter. I know your scores matter. I know you want to pass, you want to get college credit. I want that for you too, more than anything. But your scores should not replace all the hard work done throughout the year, right? Whether or not you actually pass doesn't change what you've done, right? You've done a lot of work. You've learned a lot of things about yourself, about the topics, about skills, about how to be organized, about how to study. You've learned a ton of stuff, and you're going to keep learning things, and you're going to have wins in the future too. Okay. You are not your score. So just don't ever forget that, because I think it can get really stressful right now, and it's not fair, right? We put a lot on you guys, and it's like, surprised that students aren't revolting left and right, you know? All right. Let's get into some like actual next steps. All right. So a nice little 20-minute, pep talk is good. It changes how you think about things. And now let's talk about some like real tangible stuff. The first thing that you absolutely have to do is get organized. And I would suggest that you spend some time today. It doesn't have to be a long time. Just spend a few minutes today. Get yourself organized, or do it, at, let me just read this one. Suggestion: 5 minutes of deep breathing while speaking positive messages to yourself. The kind of things Amanda is saying right now, and ending with an "I can do this." Totally. Right. Yeah. And also just want to like call out too, one of the best ways that you can deal with anxiety is like self-care. You have a lot going on. I know you have a lot to do, busy in the next 2 months, but you have to make sure that you remember to breathe, that you are remembering to eat, to sleep enough, drink water, taking a few minutes and doing something fun, like take a break and watch some, stupid show, or take a walk. Like, you have to remember the self-care. Otherwise, the rest of the stuff won't fall in line. All right. So get organized. Spend some time today. This is something really tangible that you can do. And if you don't have all your stuff, then do this on Monday after school. Just gather all the materials for the entire school year, everything you have. Notes, tests, quizzes, essays, handouts, PowerPoint slides, everything. Get it all organized. It can be digital. It can be in a binder. Just get everything together. Then put everything in order from earliest to most recent. So you got it all in order. And so obviously, if you've been doing this the whole year, this makes this really easy. If not, it's okay. Just get it all together right now and put it all in order. And then this is the most important piece. Once you have it all there, you have it all in order, flip through just kind of quickly. You're not going to be studying it yet. Just flip through and get some like Post-its, or just a piece of paper, something to like mark, important piece of paper. And you need to like mark the pages that you need to review, right? So you're kind of like letting yourself know you got to do these things. So I would mark any exams or essays that you didn't score as well on as you wanted to, right? Those are things that you need to spend a little time reviewing, because you didn't know it then, so you need to make sure you know it now. Any topics that you look back on and you're like, that was really confusing. Or if you're flipping through and there was notes that you don't even remember taking, mark those down. And any like cornerstone notes, right? Like, when you think about the whole school year, there's like some notes, there's some topics that are almost like more important than others, right? So maybe they were notes about how to do the DBQ, right? Notes about like really foundational things. Like if you don't know what spice is, making sure you know those themes, making sure you know the big picture stuff. So you got to make yourself some notes. Whoops. You got to call out some of those stuff and make sure you have, not just in order, but you make a note of the things that you need to study. This question here is like, you've only done 2 LEQs this whole year. Okay, so if you have not done a lot of writing this school year, this is something that you should start doing now. And when we get into like making a plan, this is something that I'll bring up. But you definitely want to make sure to write as much as you can and get feedback on it. All right, so get yourself organized. Questions about getting organized. How organized on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being like, I have a Leslie Knope style binder, 1 being like everything is in a crumpled piece of paper, crumpled bag. Where are you at organization wise? 3 is good. 4, not. 1.5. 1.5. Yeah, a 0 would be like it's literally all in a ball in like a little crumpled thing in the bottom of your backpack and your locker, and you don't even know what's what. And there's lunch all over it, coffee stains. All right, so this is a perfect thing. Then you guys, like, this is an easy thing to fix right now. Obviously you can't go back and fix it, but you can do this right now. Just get everything together, put it all out on the floor, put some music on, get some good jams going, put it all in order, just get it all in one spot in order. And then flip through and just add quick post-its on anything you need to go back and review. All right. I promise you will feel less anxious if you have it all together. This will help with any sort of anxiety that you're feeling. What if you're really distractible? Do it in small chunks. So, maybe you do it in small pieces. So step 1, just get everything together. Then take a little break. Step 2, put it all in order. Then take a little break. Do it in like smaller pieces. Give yourself small wins. But really, like, you will feel so much better. Like, I spent like 3 hours the other day organizing the Fiveable Google Drive. Just literally like deleting documents, moving documents, creating folders, because I was just feeling stressed about like our stuff. And that time that was spent made me feel so much better after, because it's like you're organizing your brain. It's like, even though you're organizing the actual like tangible stuff, your brain will feel a lot more organized too, because now you're not trying to like find the things in your head and remember all the things. That they're all there and they're where you need them to be. So this is like one of the most useful steps that you can do. Oh, and by the way, if you have a super organized binder, send us pictures, tweet us. We want to like lift you up. So if you've got good stuff that you've done, let us know, show us what you've done. And we want to be able to like celebrate you for that. Okay, so let's talk about some study math. You got to do a little bit of math here. You got to figure out how many days you have before your exam. I want you to subtract three days from that for extra review. Okay, so you don't want to like think all the way up until exam day. You want to like go a little bit before that. This is basically helping you to figure out how much time do you actually have and how to use that time, right? So figure out how many days you actually have before your exam minus 3. Then you're going to divide that by the number of units that your subject has, right? So for all the different subjects, there's different number of units. So for example, a lot of you guys are AP World. There's 40 days until the AP World exam, minus 3 for some extra review. We're going to divide that by 5. So the reason why it's 5 is we're going to combine units 1 and 2. That makes it all even. And then that gives us 7 days per unit. Okay, so it's important to know this number because you need to know how long you should be spending reviewing each topic. So, if you do this today, then you're going to have to stick to that, then your timer starts now, right? But you got to figure out, once you're all organized, you got to figure out now how to spend the rest of your time. You don't want to spend too much time on one thing. You want to divide it up so that you can kind of go through all the stuff. And so now if I know that I can spend 7 days per unit, then, that means I'll spend this week on units 1 and 2, next week on unit 3. It's actually perfect right now for AP World. It fits perfectly. That means you have, you got 5 weeks basically. So it's about 7 days per unit. And you'll know that. And then the thing you got to do beyond that is actually like put this in a calendar. What kind of calendars do you guys use? Do you use like paper agendas? Do you use Google Calendar? Do you use iCal? Some other app? What do you use for a calendar? If you don't have one, you can say nothing. Paper agenda. Cool. All right. So plug this all in, like if you already have an agenda, you got to plug this in. If you want to just get a blank piece of paper and draw out the rest of the school year until your exam on a calendar. Just draw a chart. And then start plugging stuff in. So okay, I have 7 days that I can spend on units 1 and 2. The next 7 days, unit 3, the next 7 days, unit 4, keep going. And then you're going to even get more granular, right? So I'm not just going to spend the next 7 days in unit 2. How am I going to do that? And so we're going to talk about all the different options. And then it's sort of up to you to decide how you want to spend your time. And stick to it. And so my suggestion is like, whatever calendar you use, you're going to set this up as soon as possible. Set it up today. So you know what units you're going to focus on and exactly what you want to do. If you want to rewrite a practice essay, if you want to watch Fiveable replays, if you want to watch other videos, if you want to listen to a podcast, whatever it is that you want to do, you're going to plug that into your calendar. The reason why we're going to organize the calendar, there's really 2 reasons. One, it's actually like, it just helps you with organizing, right, your thoughts and your own anxieties, because part of the stress is like, is there even enough time to do all of this? Or do I have enough time to do all the things I want to do? So taking a few minutes and putting it on a calendar will show you that, yes, there is enough time. And it keeps your like brain organized, right? This week I want to think about this unit, and I'm not even going to think about all the other things yet. Today I'm going to play Quizlet games for an hour, and I'm not going to worry about, I already know I'm going to read an AMSCO thing tomorrow, so I'm not going to worry about that today. All right, you want to get like super specific on this stuff. All right. Questions about calendars, about how to set them up, about how to stick to them. If you are using a Google Calendar, set notifications. It's really helpful to just like have a thing pop up and have it say like, this is what you're doing today. It reminds you. I would also just like set specific times that you're going to do things. So rather than just saying, I'm going to study unit 2 this week, you're going to get really specific on what, but even when. I'm going to read this AMSCO chapter at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Set it for yourself. You can even schedule in times that you're not going to study. It sounds silly, but like, it's so helpful. This Friday, I'm going to spend 2 hours watching Netflix, and I'm not going to think about my AP exams during those 2 hours. Put it on the calendar and do it. Right? Schedule your self-care. I do this all the time, and it's incredibly helpful. What if you get a lot of assignments? So schedule in your assignments too. Yeah. So yes. Okay. So if you're still getting a lot of assignments from your teachers, hopefully that will sort of trail off soon-ish, maybe not. So you need to include this in your plan, right? So that you have to do the things that you need to do for school. And so that you would maybe schedule that in first, and then you want to decide like little things to do each day. You can, studying can look like a lot of things. It doesn't, and this is why we're going to go through and make a big list, because it doesn't have to be that you're like reading a textbook. You can get a trivia app or like an app on your phone to study, and you can play a little bit, waiting for the bus before school, or like at lunch waiting for your friends, in between class. Like finding those like little times where you can do like little things will be really helpful. Bring note cards with you and just go through them a little bit when you have a few minutes. That can be really useful. You also can, so this suggestion of like doing it at the same time each day, if you can do that, that's also a really good tactic, because you get yourself into that habit. So if I'm going to get home, I'm going to do my homework for tomorrow, then I'll have, my day, and right before I go to bed, I'm going to spend 30 minutes just reviewing something, whatever works for you. Set that goal up for yourself. Okay, so we're going to talk through some ideas now. We'll go through games, we'll go through resources, and just like things that you should do. So what we've done is I have a bunch of videos up in the new web app. So this is not available in the old platform. This is on the new app. So you can get this at app.fiveable.me. This is all free. Oops, let me put the app.fiveable.me. You can get all of these videos, whether you're a Fiveable Plus member or not. So we've added all these up there, and just like how they work. So there's a lot of different like little games that you can play. And I totally recommend some of these you can do on your own. Some of them are better with like a buddy or even in a group, make a study group. And so I recommend going through and watching these videos so that you can just like learn some ideas. These videos are super short. Some of them are like 2 minutes long. I just basically explain how it works. So, get some ideas for yourself of like different little games you can play. Where I think the important piece here is like, there's a lot of ways to study. And so I want to give you a lot of different ideas so that you don't think I don't want you to approach it as just like, I need to study. I want you to approach it as like, I need to make a timeline. I need to create note cards. I need to read this chapter, right? Things that are very specific, right? I need to study is really hard and it's like vague. So we're going to change the language and be really specific. Right, so you can make timelines about the content. You can even make a political only timeline, a social timeline, an economic timeline. You can time yourself with things. You could do like, you want to write thesis statements, set a timer, write a thesis statement, go. Right? Maybe you're not going to write the whole essay, but just do little chunks and time yourself in it. You can play a bunch of games with your friends. Get a bunch of friends together and set up like Olympics, right? You could have a whole day. You could have a whole day at someone's house. You can plan all types of different review activities, and make it like super fun, like invite over a bunch of people. Everyone has, maybe you're each your own team or you're going to make teams, and create, decide on a country or create your own country and set up a whole Olympic day and create different like stations, like different games that you're going to play together. And this is how you're going to earn points and then celebrate at the end when it's done. I think that's super fun. Yes, take initiative, right? Like if nobody else is gathering people together in your class, you do it. You can be the one to say, hey guys, like, let's just do a whole day. Like your friends are all stressed too. Everyone in class is stressed. So you could decide to stay after school one day together and do something together, right? You can plan it. You can help your teacher plan that out. Your teacher will love it if you are doing this. Maybe you can even get them to toss you some extra credit or something, ask them for help in planning this, but definitely do it. Is it best to, I'm going to push that over to the questions. I'll get to that after. Okay, so all of these resources are up there for you. So definitely take a few minutes, take some time. You can go through and look at these videos to just like learn what each of these games looks like. And then I want to just, I'm going to open this. Okay, so what are some tools that you use to help you study? Some websites, some apps, some other tools that you use. So, obviously Fiveable live reviews and replays. We're live every week for 7 subjects. If you haven't been coming regularly, start coming, start showing up so that you can get the reviews from us. This month, within the next week or so, every class is going to be just like in review in live. So instead of like going through new things, we're going to be reviewing stuff. And so this is a really good time to do that. And then during the exam week, if you're not yet a Plus member, we've been planning out our cram sessions. So we're going to be live that week for only Plus members. For AP World, we're actually going to be doing 5 cram sessions between myself and Patrick Lassiter. Multiple choice, short answer, LEQ, DBQ, last minute questions, all the content. We're going to be doing all that the week of the exam. So that's for Plus members. All right. So some other tools that you can use besides Fiveable, and they're just all different, right? So they're going to give you different stuff. Albert.io has some really good, practice questions. Quizlet, I love Quizlet. You can play Quizlet live. Let's see what else we got. Other helpful websites would be like Freemanpedia, and Ben Freeman we're gonna do like this will happen later, but Freemanpedia and like AP World trivia the like week of the exam. Myself and Ben Freeman, we're gonna like collaborate on a massive trivia game, which is gonna be really fun. YouTube, right? Like YouTube videos, Crash Course, Bozeman Science, UWorld. I'm not even sure what UWorld is for Calc and APUSH. AP Worldopedia is awesome. What's this? Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a good one. Can you rewatch the live streams that happened? Yes. So I'm gonna do a little. I'll show you guys inside of the web app a little bit, so you can see it in a few minutes. But I'll show you all of the stuff that's up. Best website for AP Bio. I would check out Bozeman Science. He's got tons and tons of stuff. You could read like different books and stuff. Okay, so there's lots of tools that you can do, right? Lots of tools out there. There's for sure even more. There's like how to get a 5. There's or like, oh no, not how to get a 5. It's like get a 5, something like that. That has like a bunch of stuff. Prep books. If you don't have a prep book yet, that would be a really good thing to get because it will just kind of like chunk down the information for you and give you practice tests. So prep books are really useful. Surround yourself with the tools you need. Make sure you know what websites are going to be best, what apps are going to be best. You've got like Romulus app. Just like trivia questions. Where do you get them? Prep books. You can get them on Amazon, a bookstore. Any bookstore will have them. Amazon has like all of them. My suggestion on prep books are, and honestly, just Google PDF Princeton Review AP World. I guarantee you could find one for free online. Probably, I'm not promoting any of the actual websites, but I'm just saying if you look around the internet, there are plenty of things uploaded. But you can get your own books too. Any of them are good. Like they're all kind of the same. People ask like which one's the best. I have a video about like which one I like the best for AP World, but they're all kind of the same. I would just focus on those for content. None of them are that great when it comes to like how to write the DBQ. They just aren't. So instead of like trying to read the like skills piece, just like use them for content. I think Barron's is like hard to read. It's very wordy and kind of thick. And so you may as well just read a textbook at that point. Princeton Review, I think, is a lot more clear. I think Kaplan does a good job of they have like some sections that kind of help you chunk down the material better. AMSCO is always a fan favorite. The one that's like, what is it? There's a few, some of the questions and some of them are really lame, like not good questions, just as like a heads up. Okay, so let's just make a big list here. What else do you do to review? What are some of your own? Hit me with your ideas, and so everyone will be able to have all these ideas. Practice questions, write essays, get feedback. This is huge, you guys. Like, you really want to make sure that if you haven't written a lot of essays in class yet, that's okay, but you need to do some. If you need help, if you don't have someone to give you feedback, hit me up. Send me essays. We'll get myself. I'll read stuff for AP World, or our teachers can help read other things. But I really want to make sure that you do write sample questions and that you get feedback on that. Where can you get those? So on College Board, they've published all of the past exam questions, like the essays. So if you just look at, well, let me actually, hang on a second. I'm going to click out of this for a sec and then share the screen differently so I can just show you some good websites. And we'll just link them here too. So past AP World essays. So we've actually gone through and done this all for you on Fiveable. So basically what we've done is linked everything. So these are all of the past essay questions as, like College Board has these published. So if you want to like practice, these SAQs, here's like 18th century global balance of power. So this is like, in Unit 5, you can see the free response questions that were asked. All right, so here's just like all that was asked. And so, we labeled it as Unit 5. So you can see this one. This is like question 2. So let me link this here. But basically, like College Board has all that up too. All right, so I'll link that there for you for now. And College Board has everything listed. Okay. All right, other ideas. Keep going over Quizlet. All right, so like play Quizlet games. Play Kahoot. Look up Kahoots with friends. Are there sample AP questions online? Yes. Looking at scoring guidelines for questions. Yeah, so make sure that when you write the essays, that you're really looking at those rubrics and get feedback. So like trade them with a friend, or give them to your teacher, or send them to me and I'll grade them for you. But make sure you like are looking at you can see the score guidelines, like College Board posts. Like, so if you just search like College Board AP World, you can send essays to me at my email. Oops. hi@fiveable.me. Okay, so all right, so you just search College Board AP World, and then you go to like their site. They'll not only list all the essays that have been asked, but they'll also list. All right, so then you go to the exam. College Board's being a little slow. They'll also list these like score guidelines. Oh my God. Okay, so let me post this. Sorry, I have like 1 million tabs open. So here are the slides so you can see them. And we'll post them on this page as well. So anyway, so on College Board, they list here are like all the questions that have ever been asked. So we went through and we organized these by topic. right? So you can see them organized by unit like this. And then here, you can also see like scoring guidelines. So like if you want to practice them, they posted like not just the rubrics, but exactly what points they gave. And so it's really useful to go through and read a lot of these things. You can see sample responses. You can see, just like what people did. It shows you like good ones and bad ones. And so this is really useful. And they have this for every subject. They have these posted. And so they basically have like, they'll show you like examples of responses that would earn credit for each one. So you can see like exactly what needs to have been written in order to get that point. Sometimes they have like a longer, right? So here's like this DBQ. Here's an example of the thesis statement that was needed to get that point. Things like that. All right, let's see what else you guys said. So write notes on old notes, rewrite notes, Quizlet chapters, Barron flashcards, or you can make flashcards. And then this is a video that I have up too, is like how to use note cards. You can once you have the note cards, what do you do with them? You can basically like create 3 piles for yourself of like, I super know this, I kind of know this, I don't know this at all. You can also organize them on the floor in terms of like geography or time. What else? What else do you do to study? Any other suggestions? All right, I'm gonna answer some of these questions. Watch Crash Course. Okay. Binge watch Crash Course. All right, I'm in 3 AP classes. Should I give the same amount of study time to each? I also have other classes that I'm in that are not AP, but still have a lot of assignments. So, excuse me. You've got to prioritize, right? You can't do everything equally. And so if I were you, I would think about which of your 3, exams you need the most time to study in, like which ones are you already strong in and which ones are you not, and divide out your time kind of like that. You got to do your study math in terms of what you need to review, but then you can also adjust based on how well you know things. Like, don't spend a lot of time going over things right now that you already know. Like, you want to spend the most time going over stuff that you don't know. So I would say just like organize your time that works for you. And then if you have other classes that are not AP and you still have lots of assignments, like you still got to keep on top of those too. So this is just where it gets hard. This is where a lot of what you're going to learn right now is just around how to stay organized and how to prioritize your assignments. So that you can really get the things you need done. And this is a hard skill to learn, and you just sort of have to make your way through. And if you need help in organizing that, just let us know. And, we're down to help in any way we can. How should we handle studying if our teacher does not use AP questions or AP style tests? I get the info, but have hardly seen any AP skills. So you need to just find those skills. You need to find practice questions. You can use, use past essays that have been asked, past questions that have been posted. You can use resources like Albert or like a prep book that have AP style questions, and just take as many of them as you can so that you have as much practice as possible. All right. More coffee. Okay, this is a great question. With all the resources available, how do you make a plan? Sometimes the list of resources is more stressful than the actual studying. There's a lot of things out there, you guys. There's so much support. You same as like the last question, you got to pick and choose a little bit. You got to pick the things that work best for you. So I would start testing things. So like Something that like we do at Fiveable is like we're always like testing different things, like what's going to work the best. And you want to test things in like the smallest amount of effort possible to get the most data. So what I would do for you is, let's say this week you need to start reviewing, units 1 and 2. Take a few of these examples and try them. Watch a Fiveable replay. Do some practice questions in the AMSCO book. Rewrite your note. Like, choose a few. Out of all the options, choose 3. Like, you're making like a hypothesis here. Choose 3 that you think will work best for you, just based on how you know yourself, what seems the most useful to you. Choose 3, and then see how that goes, right? So like maybe test it with like one topic. So take a practice test, then study, and then take another test and see if that like moved your score, or just get kind of like, qualitative data on it, like what felt the most useful. And then you got to kind of make decisions quickly. So if like you're doing Albert questions and you're like, I don't know how useful this is, then stop, adjust, stop doing that and move on, or do it differently. All right. So that's the best advice I can give. It's not a perfect science. None of it is, like what works for you one day even might not work for you the next day. What works for one topic might not work for another topic. And each of you are different. You all have different strengths and different ways of learning. And so there is no like one size fits all for any of this. And that's why there are so many different resources, because each one has its own strength, right? So try different things, keep adjusting, find the things that work for you, and then make those your priority. And then don't feel bad about not looking at the other stuff. You don't need it. Just look at the ones that you need. Yeah, see, Albert was good at the beginning, and now I just remember the right answers. Exactly, right? So like it can be good for a little while and maybe not forever. So just keep adjusting, keep testing different things, like not just testing yourself, but like testing different ways to study. Like try rewriting your notes if someone suggests it, but maybe just try half of it and see if that was helpful. If it doesn't feel helpful, then stop doing it. All right. So you basically just need to figure out what works best using the least amount of effort and time. So set those little like tests up and keep going, keep learning from it. I'm going to move this question over as well. Is it best to pressure yourself specific times to study? Yes. Yeah. Find different times that work best for you. And this is another thing that you can test too. Like, you might know that you work better at night. So choose a time later at night. Or try waking up early and doing a little bit before school, or a little bit here and there during school. Maybe you're really good at sitting down on a Saturday and just like spending a chunk of time. Maybe you're really bad at that. So I would just keep trying different things and see what works best, see what time of day you are best. And that's going to be different for everyone too. So keep trying different things. But yeah, if you can find like the same time every day, that's really helpful. One of my AP classes I've been studying on my own for, and one of my classmates aren't motivated. I tried to get together a study group for that one, but it didn't work out. Should I just resign myself to studying on my own? Well, you got to kind of make the call. I think, I would suggest like joining like the AP students Discord or Reddit. There are other AP students out there. And so you could potentially like find a study group online, with Fiveable students, even like you guys are all here right now. You could exchange your Instagram handles or Twitter handles, with each other and support each other in that. Or you could study on your own. And you just sort of have to decide what's gonna be best. Like at a certain point, trying to get other people involved may just be a waste of time. It may just be better to just study on your own. And that's fine. That's totally fine. So yeah, choose what's best for you. I just joined as Google Slides available for viewers. Yep, so the link is in the chat. I have a Princeton review prep book and know basically nothing after period 4 to 5-ish, and I'm really like meh on all of it except for period 1 to 3. What do you recommend I do? So you need to do the math here. So if this is AP World that you're asking about, then you've got 40 days divided up. So the next 7 days focus on periods 1 and 2. The next 7 days focus on period 3. This is a good example. So like, one of the things that's stressing you out right now is how much there is to do. So rather than thinking about how much there is to do, you want to make sure that you are just like pacing yourself and like organizing all of those different things. Because if you right now are just thinking about, I don't know anything, that's going to like hold you back later. So divide it up and just like start chipping away at it, one by one thing at a time. Do you have any recommendations for study spots? Okay, so environment is really, really important, right? Like sounds, distractions, visual distraction. There's a lot of factors in studying. So, there were some good options that were put in the chat. You got to find something that's going to work, but it has to work in terms of like accessibility too. So if you can't get there easily, then that's not a useful situation. So I would suggest like, there are obviously different places to go. You can do, you can study with, you can go to coffee shops, you can go to a library, you can go to a park, you can go to, you can go to a lot of different places to try to study. But if you can't go someplace, you need to make somewhere in your house work, right? So you want to sort of carve out something that will work for you. I would suggest, putting on headphones. You can get not just like, it's not just necessarily like music that you want to listen to, but also just like sound to help like sort of drown it out. So there are apps that are like white noise. And like, I personally find those so useful because it's hard for me to listen to like lyrics if I'm trying to study or read something. And so I might listen to, instrumental music or just, something without lyrics, just like a good beat. Or I might just, rain sounds or piano. I listen to like, honestly, like a fan noise when I'm just like trying to sleep. And so just finding some other noise that you can use to sort of block it out. Or if you can get like noise canceling headphones, like honestly, best investment I ever made. And so basically what I'm saying is like, you got to carve something out that works. So if obviously you all have different issues, like this issue about not being able to have electronics in your room. It's a great idea to talk to them about it. But also like trying to solve the problem with like what you can control and what you can't control. Right. So I can't control my environment in all of those. There's a lot of factors in my environment that I can't control. So what can I control? Okay, I can find somewhere in my house or right outside, maybe sit outside of your house, and sort of like, make sure that there's the things that you need, like putting headphones on in some corner of your house, and try to get your family on board with just like, look, this is where I study, right? Like this is my like, this is my corner of the living room and this is my study section. It's not a lot of space that I'm asking for, but this is my space, and just trying to sort of get anyone else in your house on board with that of like, I'm going to be here. I have my headphones on, please don't distract me. And, maybe just tell them, look, I just set a timer for an hour. I'm going to study for an hour. Like, please don't talk to me for the next hour. Something like that. Yeah, this is another one. Yeah, I'm not recommending that you don't sneak your, I'm not recommending anything like that. It's just like work with what you've got. So instead of using electronics, then the things that you should choose are like handwriting stuff. Right. So in your room, what can you do? Right. So just focus on what you can do. So get a book, get a, make actual note cards. You can even just like create note cards from pieces of paper. You can just cut them up. You can create timelines on pieces of paper, so like, this is just good advice for everyone. Just organize your factors into things you can control and things you can't. And if you can't control it, you can't control it. It is what it is. That's how my house is. That's how my dad is. That's how my teacher is, right? Whatever. I can't control what other people do. I can control maybe, the resources that I surround myself with. I can control my mindset. I can control the like time that I use, the playlists I listen to, things like that, right? So just think only about the things you can control, because the things you can't will stress you out, but you can't do anything about it. So just I don't know, try. And all these people have been you guys are really awesome to each other too. And so, I hope you can support each other still in this. So yeah, so if you can't get a physical book, it's no worries. Like you can still actually, if you want to email me after this, and like I'm happy to help you like also sort of like troubleshoot, and just kind of figure out, like, if you literally want to email me with like a little list of like things you can't control, these are the factors that I there's no way around them. These are the rules. This is what I have, and this is what I don't have. And then make me a little list of like the things that I could actually control, and I'll help you like brainstorm and figure it out. How do you recommend studying if you don't have anyone to study with? So studying alone, like I like studying alone sometimes too. I think you can get a lot done. And so I recommend just like setting specific tasks for you to do. Maybe like writing practice essays, creating different like graphic organizers, going through videos and writing down like notes from the videos, things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I would just like, pop on some like headphones, get a good playlist going, something that you can really like jam to, but also like focus to, and just like knock out a bunch of stuff. Like just get really productive. Is it worth sitting down and just doing practice tests? Yes. So a lot of teachers in this last month will schedule practice exams with you. That was something that we talked about with teachers earlier. I would definitely recommend doing a practice test if you haven't already, and getting like an actual like mock score, and replicate the conditions. So you want to be timing yourself in the right amount of time. You want to be in a place that's like, quiet and that you can focus, things like that. And so I think like replicate the conditions as much as possible, and do it as many times as you can. Word. I love this study group stuff that's happening. Yay, Fiveable friends. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end this broadcast, but I'm going to push everyone over to the next one. So